Hi, my name is Dr. Ray Pastor, and today I'm going to talk about ISP spying and website spying. So the big question is your ISP, Internet Service Provider, spying on you and logging data in our websites like Google, Amazon, eBay, looking at your data and seeing what you do and possibly doing something with it? The answer is yes. Everyone is doing that. Recently, the government made it illegal again, or legal again, because it always has been legal until about a year ago, for them to record ISPs that you visit, so like websites that you visit, and they're able to sell that data. So, you know, that was just taken away, so it's legal for them to do that again. So why should you care about that in the first place? Well, why should you care? Well, why should they be able to do it? You can argue, well, yeah, but Google can log your data. Yeah, but the difference is that I can choose not to go to Google. Many people can't choose who their internet service provider is because they might only have one or two options. If you live in a city, you might have 4 or 5 different options, but even then, you only have a few options. And many people only have one, and that's their only choice, so they can't choose. If they want internet, they're just basically going to get tracked. Whereas they can choose not to go to Google, not to go to Amazon, not to go to XYZ site. Um, and so what is the big deal about being tracked anyway? Well, for most of us, for most things we search, it's really not a big deal. But let's say you don't want someone knowing, what news sites or articles you're visiting. Let's say you are looking up some health-related information and you don't want other people to know that. Now, are people going to know? They're not just going to know, but let's say that, and I've given this example before. Let's say I'm applying to life insurance, and for some reason, my life insurance company is able to purchase my browsing history from an ISP, and they see that I've been researching some like weird diseases for the last few years. That could potentially affect my ability to get that life insurance. Let's say I'm applying to a political office. The way people are in politics these days, you could see where someone would buy someone's search history if they could, to see what they're really doing online. So there are many reasons, and additionally, like just because my insurance company, just because I pay my bank, my insurance company, doesn't mean that the bank can come to my house and search through my things whenever they want to. But that's what we're allowing our ISP to do. They can come and search our stuff whenever they feel like it. So, it is kind of scary, and there are reasons why you wouldn't want to do it. On a day-to-day basis, it probably doesn't matter to most of us. But when you're searching things, you shouldn't be spied on just because by default. You should have the choice. So there are a few things that you can do to stop this. So first of all, let's talk about ISP spying and how to stop that. So if your internet service provider is spying on you, the best thing to do is to have a VPN. What does that mean? That's a virtual private network, and I have one up right now. See, I just pulled it up on my screen. What this does is it hides my IP address. So I am based in an Atlanta server where I'm not located. It's several states away from me. I can see how long I've been on for. I'm currently protected, and I can see what my IP address looks like to my ISP. So anyone who sees my computer right now, this is what they see. So essentially what you're doing is what a VPN does is it masks you. It hides who you are. Now the thing is, basically what's happening is your ISP, your internet service provider, can see that you're connected to the internet, and they can see that you're going through whatever VPN you're going through. But that's all they can see. Now, essentially, your VPN provider can see what you're doing, just like your ISP could. But the point of the VPN providers is that most of them, as you can see right here, it says no logs. They're not tracking you. They promise you, that's what they're doing, is they're promising not to track you. So it's a double layer protection against your ISP. Basically, they're saying they're not tracking you. So your ISP cannot see what you're doing online. This is beneficial, really beneficial. Like let's say you're in a country where you're restricted from using Facebook. If you log into a VPN, voila, you can use Facebook. So you're not restricted anymore. And there are lots of sites that, Google will restrict in searches. I'm not saying people should be using them because some of them are really do some awful things. But, you are no longer restricted to those things when you're behind a VPN. So, that's one of the advantages of it. So what VPN should you even get? Should you be using this for day-to-day things? It depends. If you're in a public Wi-Fi like a Starbucks, you should definitely have VPN protecting you, 100%. If you're home and you're just on your general email and you're doing your daily things, I don't think you really need to have it on. Now, if you're searching like that medical kind of stuff or anything that's a little off, not like you normally, I would probably go behind the VPN just so your ISP isn't seeing that kind of information. So that's really when I would use it at home. There are many different kinds of VPNs. This is CyberGhost. They offer a free version, which I'm using right now. I really like their VPN. I like Windscribe a lot. I think they're a great VPN. They also offer a free version. I like Hotspot Shield is okay. They do have some ads and stuff, but they're a pretty good VPN too, and they also have a free version. There's a number of free ones out there. Those are just a few of them that I really like. I really like the Windscribe and CyberGhost. They're kind of my two favorites. Hotspot Shield, I'm using Hawks on my browser, and a few others that are pretty good. So there are a couple kinds of VPN. So right now the VPN that I have open is protecting my whole entire system. So that means like Skype or anything that I'm using is going to be protected by VPN. But if I just want to protect my browser only, I can do that too. I'm going to go right to my browser, and I have different VPNs here. I can click Windscribe and I can turn it on, and now that's only going to protect my IP address of my browser. I have Hotspot Shield and I have Hawks. So I have 3 different VPNs that I can connect to my browser. Why do I have 3? Well, they're all free and they each only give a certain amount of space. So when I run out of one, I use the other. Sometimes one seems to be more faster than the other, and I always like to play around and experiment with different ones and see who's offering what. Okay, so that's basically the best way to keep your ISP from finding out who you are. Now, if you want to be super, super secure, and add an extra layer against your ISP, there are some other things you can do. And that is using this browser called the Tor Browser. The Tor Browser is a version of Firefox that was created by a group to basically keep you anonymous. So in addition to using VPN, using this browser, this is the browser that, like, if you were writing like if you were like working on a high level political case, or like, researching things as you're a reporter working on a very high level like news story, you're going to use this browser because you don't want anyone to be able to track what you're doing. This browser is this most secure browser you can get. So if you are trying to search things that are super, super private, this is the browser that you use. It's Tor, it's free, and you use VPN, and then on top of that, you use this browser. Now, I don't use this in my day-to-day browsing because this browser is a little slower because it's basically trying to mask where you are several times. So it's really trying to hide you. So it's a little slower. So my day-to-day, my browser of choice is Firefox. Firefox, as you know, this is what Tor is using. Firefox is open source. It's one of the best browsers out there. It's the best browser in my opinion. Now you can do some things in Firefox to keep you more secure. Not really from your ISP, because I've kind of already showed you how to protect against your ISP. But there are some things you can do to make yourself secure against, like Google from following you, from Amazon from following you, from other places from following you. This is how to protect yourself while you're browsing. So the first thing I do is I use my search engine is called DuckDuckGo. It's just like Google, but guess what? This search engine does not track you. It does not track you. And it's my default search engine. If I search something in my browser bar right now, DuckDuckGo is going to be my browser. And it's just like any other browser. If I search like anything like privacy online, you can see the search results. I'm not being tracked right now. They specifically say, and it's just like Google, works the same kind of thing. You can see images. I mean, it's just like it. So this search engine does not track you, and it's great. It's a great search engine that does the same thing. There are other things you can do as well. The things that I recommend are using Firefox Add-Ons. So if you were to browse and search Firefox Add-Ons, you're going to come up to the page of Firefox Add-Ons, and all you do is install these right on your browser. But I'm going to show you the ones that I use and like. So the first one that I use is called HTTPS Everywhere. HTTPS Everywhere. And essentially what that does is it makes it so that your browser goes to an HTTPS version when possible. This helps your websites become encrypted and helps protect you a little bit. Notice when you go to your bank or something like that, it's always HTTPS. So that's what this does. It pushes to that. The next thing I use is something called uBlock Origin. What this uBlock origin does is it takes away ads. Not just ads, though. It takes away a lot of privacy things. You wouldn't notice it, but there are tons of ads when you visit websites. When you have this app enabled, you're actually not going to see those ads, and your web is going to be much faster. So like when I go to a website, it'll load in like half the time that it normally does because none of those ads and extra things need to load. So it makes them much, much faster. So not only is this protecting me, it's making my browsing experience much quicker. Then there's another one called Privacy Badger. Privacy Badger is awesome because what it does is it stops sites from tracking you. It makes it so they can't track you. uBlock Origin does that a little bit too, but I prefer to use both of them just as kind of an extra layer. So that's Privacy Badger, and I really like Privacy Badger. And the last thing that I use on my browser is an extension to block what's called WebRTC. WebRTC. Some websites contain a piece of script that allows them to actually bypass your VPN so that your IP address is exposed. And so what you do is you actually disable WebRTC, you add that add-on, and you don't have to worry about it. Your IPN is hidden behind your VPN. Because when WebRTC can allow, like it's like a backdoor for people to see your IP address even though it's hidden. So make sure you have that hidden. And then I have my, my VPN extensions on here, which I use periodically for things. Now, some people ask, well, what if I just go into, private browsing mode or incognito or whatever? No, this does not hide you. The only thing this does is deletes your search history and your cookies on your page. Everyone can see you just as well when you're in this mode. This mode does nothing. This just means if I go to your page and I go see, search history, it's not going to pop up. That's it. That's all incognito is. That's all private browsing mode is. Does not do anything else. Don't think it does something else. Don't let that trick you. Now, it's a great mode to search and stuff because your history is not on your computer, but anyone watching it can still see that stuff. All right, two other things I do want to talk about here. One, what about my mobile device? Mobile device, not much different than a computer. There just aren't as many options. First of all, there are tons of free VPNs for your mobile device. So you can always get free VPN on Android and iPhone. So obviously that's your first step for security. Second thing, browser. You can make your browser pretty secure on your mobile device. On the iPhone, there isn't a Tor browser, but there is a version of the Tor browser. It's called Onion Browser. So on Android or iPhone, you can download the Tor version called Onion Browser, and that's a secure browser on your device. It is kind of slow, so if you're not searching something super secure, but you just want to stay secure in general, on iPhone, use what's called Firefox Focus. Firefox Focus. It stops websites from tracking you. It deletes all your history. It's a very simple, quick browser. You'll find that pages load super fast on your iPhone using Firefox Focus. And then on your regular Android device, I would use Firefox and download the add-ons that I've recommended here today. Because you cannot put add-ons on the Apple iPhone, whereas you can on Android. So Firefox has developed Firefox Focus. It's an awesome browser for your iPhone. And then Firefox regularly for Android. Finally, the last thing I want to talk about. What about your email? Your Gmail and everything you send is, your name is right up there, for your email. So there are a few free private emails out there that allow you to sign up for accounts without connecting to you at all. And you can see I've just searched here in Tor Browser. That might take a couple seconds. So let me just do that right here in Firefox. Let's see. Private emails, but one of my favorite is Protonmail. You can see the number of them come up here. There's private emails. There are different kinds of email addresses that you can get that only last for like 15 minutes. So the email address is only live for 15 minutes. You can send an email and get one back, and then it's gone. My favorite that I like to use is actually called Protonmail. Protonmail is free, and you can sign up without giving your name or anything. It's based in Switzerland. You can pay them as well for a better account, but it's 100% free. You can be 100% anonymous email. It's one of the better ones that I use. And that's everything. That's most of it, at least for now. All right, thank you.